One thing I enjoy about being a sergeant is seeing your Marines progress day to day. So if you give them a task or a challenge that they're uncomfortable with and seeing them overcome that obstacle, whether it's a short period of time or a long period of time, you know that you're having a direct impact on those individuals. To become a squad leader in 1-7, I'd say you'd have to have very good discipline. That's one of the big things that we harp on here. Not only are you constantly tested day to day here in the backyard in the elements of 29 ponds in the desert, but also mentally. So we constantly do knowledge tests and checks on our Marines to ensure that they're upholding the standard of their billet.
Once you become a sergeant, Marines can expect to have a lot more responsibility, but on the same hand, a lot more respect and the opportunity to kind of lead your Marines the way that you want to lead them and teach them the way that maybe you were taught or weren't taught, and take advantage of that freedom of movement and just perform well.
One thing to expect when you become a squad leader is your day is never done. You're constantly training, you're constantly preparing for that next day. So once the task is done, and because we train to task, we don't train to time. So once you're proficient in a certain task, you move on to the next one. And even if the day ends at 16:30, you're still preparing for that next day, whether that's training objectives, field environment, deployment, whatever the case is, you're constantly improving. So this way the next day you can be better.
So the best way that I've trained my junior Marines to get ready for deployments and training is just look back on past experiences, look at what's worked and what hasn't, and then look at what future upcoming events that we have, and pretty much train them to reach a point where they're ready for anything that comes their way.
So one way here in 1-7 that we prepare our junior Marines for future exercises and deployments is productive, realistic rehearsals. So taking whatever environment we're going to be operating in, whether conventional, which is operating in trenches or in the mountains or hills, and applying that to our training practices. If we're going to go into an area where we know there's going to be a lot of buildings and it's going to be more urban, then we'll do a lot more room clearing. So depending on what the exercise is, we'll tailor our training objectives to meet that area that we're going to be operating in.
So sergeants and squad leaders need to set the example, because you're essentially the subject matter expert. If I don't know what I'm talking about, then why should they know their jobs, right? But if I know my job, I can hold them to that standard. If I'm physically fit and capable, I can hold them to that standard. It's all about setting the example so they have something to strive for.
My advice for anybody that wants to be a squad leader is to have humility, remember where you came from, being that PFC, and then learn from your mistakes, and then always strive to better yourself, because at the end of the day, as long as you strive to better yourself, you're striving to make those Marines better as well.
Advice I'd give to someone that wants to be a squad leader would be to study your knowledge. You're never too good to relearn something or learn something new, so constantly putting yourself in that student position so this way you can learn and teach other people that are above you or below you.